Zeph is widely regarded as one of the strongest characters in Supervive amongst top rank players. However, this perception of the character is often met with lots of negative sentiment surrounding him, pointing towards ideas that Zeph is easy, probably because you can do so much healing by just hovering over your allies and clicking them. Why am I bringing this up though? Because I, even a Zeph player myself, shared the same thoughts about the character. I thought he was broken, easy to play, and did too much. But it had been a while since I played the character before open beta, so I set out on a journey with my teammates to prove just how broken Zeph is, and the results of what I learned might surprise you. Open beta was finally here. It was like a holiday. The whole squad was on, and aside from server issues, it was a great time. But something was off. Zeph wasn't feeling as blatantly overpowered as I remembered. I was getting caught out more. I wasn't hitting any nades for the life of me, and I was getting forced to be a heal bot most of the time due to my incompetence on the character. I was washed, and I could feel it. So what did I do? I did what I know best. I locked in Oath and proceeded to stomp down games with Lemur on Brawl. It was easy, but the next days, I would be determined to figure out why exactly things weren't working. Day 2 found me in the mindset that yesterday was a fluke and I just needed to warm up to the game. But I couldn't be more incorrect. It was more of the same at first, with just slightly better aim than I had the day prior. That was until Lemur continued to ask me again and again and again, what's your dash cooldown? What's your cooldown on dash?
Do you have dash? Said we in there. What's NATO?
5 seconds.
And that's when I realized this character is a lot like Lucio from Overwatch in terms of communication. When I am playing Zeph, my team is going to look to play around me to enable themselves more with their increased mobility alongside me. And if they have their dash available once they are in, since they don't need to use it to get there, they are safer as a result. This all means that I need to be communicating this cooldown without people needing to ask constantly. This is when I realized that characters in Supervive can be played in a variety of ways depending on the composition, especially Zeph. Because Zeph is played in so many different types of places, since he's really the only good support, sorry Aluna, it calls for the player to utilize him in different ways depending on the circumstance. The way I play Zeph with a Brawl cannot be the same that I play with a Hudson. So what did I stop doing? Well, I stopped going for nearly as many flank plays as Zeph and started putting a strict emphasis on my dash, mainly supporting Lemur on Hudson when necessary. On top of this, this is where I learned the Cyclone Jump dash tech with Zeph. This is where if a teammate jumps and dashes forward, you can dash them with your Cyclone in the same direction to give them super speed. This started terrorizing teams. You can't run or hide from Huddy anymore. After days 2 and 3, I began to realize the importance of the Cyclone dash, more so than I already knew. And what I learned is that it is an imperative that I call my dash cooldown constantly to my team, enabling them to make more plays that could possibly win fights, and also looking for opportunities to help teammates finding more value than just me myself. But this was only one part of the journey. I knew that dashing my teammates and enabling them simply just was not enough if I was going to really show people how broken Zeph really could be. It was time to focus on hitting some more juicy nades. Enter days 4 and 5. Up until this point, I looked at nade as an ability that could just be chucked around in a couple different ways. It could be used when people are stacked together, to peel for myself or a teammate, or to set up someone else for a kill. And to be honest, this is a really good fundamental understanding of what you need to be doing with nade to find great value. But then, why wasn't it working? Why was I struggling to hit so many nades consistently? Why did it feel like I maybe hit one good nade a fight or a game? Was it really just my aim and positioning? Or was it the way I was thinking about the ability? Now, this might sound crazy, but I remember sitting there in the gym on my push day, pushing myself to the absolute limit and thinking about Supervive during my rest periods between sets. And then that is when it dawned on me. Usually when I miss my nades, there is a key cooldown that people have, and that's their dash. A lot of the time, it wasn't that I wasn't placing my nades in the best spots, rather, it was that my nades were being used without intention. Then I realized, when do I miss slams on Oath most often? Usually it's when the enemy has a dash to get out of it. And finally, my third eye opened. I ascended into a plane of Supervive knowledge and existence that I have never stepped into before. Supervive's combat truly is all about the dash. Let's face it, the time to kill in Supervive is pretty darn fast. And the best way to avoid dying is to avoid taking damage altogether. The only way to really do that is to simply not get hit. And dashing sorta helps with that. I started to understand that the the value of a nade is not simply one that shows up in the kill feed. A nade can be so much more than that. Imagine if you have a Zeph and an Oath on the same team, for simplicity's sake. The Oath wants to look for a big slam, but he really doesn't want to do that unless he knows he is going to hit it and secure a kill. It's a pretty significant cooldown, all things considered. Zeph also wants to look for a big nade, but he has so many other tools in his kit to play off of, especially if his teammates are getting good value and creating space for him. In moments like these, I realized that fishing for a nade early in the fight, not to find a kill right away exactly, but instead to force out a dash from an enemy, was significantly more impactful, and it helped me start playing better as a result. Fights, even in scrims, just felt better for myself and for my team, because I was enabling my team more consistently depending on the circumstance. Instead of just fragging out all the time by myself, it was a team effort, and everything fell into place as a result. And then, finally, I figured out the build. What could help me force out more dashes, find more picks, and most of all, keep my teammates alive while doing that? Amplifier, the Tech Blade evolution, does just that. What Amplifier does is it makes your most recent ability refresh 5% faster, stacking at a max of 10 until you cast a new ability. This is a huge deal because it allows you to make your nade cooldown go from roughly 7 to 8 seconds to 3 to 4 seconds. In the end game, when you're just kind of sitting around waiting for an opportunity, this is the perfect tool to fish for picks and find value. The only problem is that it's going to take a lot of mana. This is where the Mind Blade came in, and it gives you a boatload of mana to work with. Combining both of these items allow me not only to force dashes later in the game, but also punish them for dashing too. It was only a matter of time though until it was time to use my newfound knowledge against the best that NA had to offer in scrims. So it was the days of the scrims. I had some other things to do as well, most notably edit videos. As I was recording some footage, I found out a way that I could take my nuking to Zeph to the next level. And this is when I figured out the tech. If you marked a group of enemies, naded behind them, and then ulted them all into the nade, they would take almost their whole health bar full of damage. And then, with all of my preparation through the week, it was finally time. It was finally time to play in scrims. And then, I locked in Oath? Huh? Wait. You can't be serious. So we locked in a different composition, mainly to enable a Hudson to abuse what many believed was a broken character, and things were going alright at best, until the last game where we figured, you know what if we just ignored Huddy and took angles around him to overwhelm him and deny his strengths? Out comes the composition Kingpin, Zeph, Jewel, and Brawl. This composition has no problem dealing with Oath that is protecting the Huddy, leaving him wide open for some quick death. We ran into the last game with a hefty lead to catch up to, and after several clean team fights, including a Zeph ulti into the train, we ended the last game with 33 kills in first place. We absolutely nuked the lobby, and it wasn't even close. At the pinnacle of North American Supervive, I was able to show just how broken Zeph truly is by supporting my team and handling some by myself. It's important to go back and think about what I really learned about Zeph during this week of grinding though. Is Zeph really broken? Is Zeph truly as easy as what people say he is? Well, I can answer that one for sure. Zeph is undoubtedly much harder to be consistent with than I had thought. He is by no means an easy character, nor is he the hardest character. He puts up a meaningful challenge though, that is for sure. So much goes into Zeph's kit. You have to know when to dash in, dash out, B-hop to save your dash to keep yourself alive, know when it is time to tap the dash versus hold it, know when to use your nade to force out dashes or find picks, and also be able to take matters into your own hands and finish out a fight with your nuke tech. Sure, you could just sit and right-click your teammates, but what truly sets apart a Zeph player and a player on Zeph is the person's ability to truly amplify teammates and assert oneself in the fight. Hit those dashes, force them out too, hit those nuke combos, and you can show the world just how broken Zeph can be. Thanks everyone for watching this far if you made it. If you couldn't tell, this is a pretty new style for me to be making, and I intend on doing it for a bunch of other characters too. In the future, I'm going to have a lot more individual clips pre-planned to use in the video too, since I have a bit more experience with how this process works. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments what hunters you want me to do next. That being said, make sure to check out the Zeph guide to get a better handle of the character before you do a week-long challenge yourself. But until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.